It's kind of funny because it took me this long, but here I'm a woodworker, and I used to be a printer. So it seemed like I would be able to put the two together a lot sooner than I have. But I just kind of edged into it. It wasn't any defining moment that brought me into it. But once I started going down that path, I could see endless possibilities. I was pretty good on that last one. Now this kind of just gently adheres the paper to the ink. And the paper we used at Gemini was mostly arches and wreaths from France. And it again was all handmade. Occasionally you'd find a piece with a little fragment of an orange or something where, you know, one of the workers' lunch might have ended up in the batch. They taught us at Gemini just to float the paper. There she is. Now this is another way to print too. They have the same problems as anything else. Too much ink or too little ink, but there we go. That's the keeper. One of my friend's daughter was fighting basically for her life. She had cancer. And we dedicated the print to her, and I gave one of the prints to each one of the family members. Technically, this block is, I think, one of the best prints that I've done as far as the detail and be able to pull off things like a chain, you know, and the little crack in the door, or the stickers on the windshield. This one is the Santa Barbara boat launch back in well, the car is a 56 Ford, so, you know, it's probably maybe the 60s. This one is from an old catalog, 1928. And it was like one of those things that you used to see in the back of a comic book, you know, send in so many labels and you could get this. This is from my trip to Costa Rica and Nicaragua. And my friend's house is right inside that little bay. If you can tell on the inside of the shell, there's the two palm trees in the bay and the little surf line. And it's right down from Playa Hermosa, which is a major sea turtle reserve. I've had two of these old Chevy trucks. Back in the day, we lived in them and we built campers on them. Spent a lot of time in Northern California. I remember the magazine, National Geographic, that I got it out of. And the original is almost mosaiced with turquoise. It doesn't have the pattern on it. The next page had another sculpture, Aztec sculpture, that had this kind of texture on it. So I incorporated the two. Forbidden City and those dragons leading up on the royal pathway there, or when I see a travel program and they go into Mexico and see the Aztec and the Mayan ruins, and not always conscious. I'm not trying to make things light and a little carefree, but this guy is definitely not the ferocious dragon that he started off as in China. I always seem to end up with a soft edge. That is with the oil mixture again. That might even be straight oils. I find if I put enough varnish in it, that it kind of holds back the oil in the oil paints from seeping into the paper. I followed my sister to art class, and I was too little for them to send me back. And from there on, they let me stay, and taking that class is probably the first real art thing that I remember. Art became my language, and it was just a real natural kind of evolution. You kind of become it, you know. It becomes the way that you express yourself and that you relate to people and things. Royalty of American art Roy Lichtenstein, his approach and his work habits. I mean, Klaus Odenberg, his humor. I mean, I've been so fortunate to meet these people. And I got to take weekend classes at Chenard. And from weekend classes at Chenard, they had another scholarship within that group of people, and I won that. And I got my first year at Chenard. So I just lucked out. And from Chenard, I went on, like I say, worked at Disney, and then went on to Gemini and got that unbelievable experience, and from there came up here and working for the schools. My interest in the Asian art, or my interest in retro, which is not really retro when you lived it, I don't think, but then I can just flip through a magazine and find something. One thing I enjoy about working in the schools is when they come up to me and say, we need to do this. And I started working at summer stock at middle school, and I can't even tell you how many years ago that was. That could have been 25 years ago, and we've been working together ever since. So that's how I got where I am. Just good fortune.